What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Just watched a video. Shout out to the Boxing Voice and the guys over there. Great exclusive. They had Angel Garcia. This motherfucker is funny. I don't care what y'all say. He goes overboard and over the top, but I do respect the fact that he speaks from the heart and he speaks his mind. And we need that in boxing. We need the good guys like Andre Ward, who are just son of God, SOG, very humble, very eloquent, and we need the erratic, over the top personalities like Angel Garcia. Again, this is what makes the sport of boxing unique. You got all styles of fighters, not only fighters but also personality types. The way that Floyd Mayweather or Adrian Broner conduct themselves is typically different than Mikey Garcia, who is a skilled champion as well, or was until he lost his belt on the scale. But Mikey Garcia conducts himself in a totally different manner. So boxing needs all of it, everything in between. As far as Angel Garcia, he was ranting about the Matthysse fight. Obviously, he's amped up. His son's gonna fight the boogeyman, Lucas the Machine Matthysse, and everyone's looking forward to this fight. I am. I do think this fight is a lot closer than some people perceive it, and it's really gonna boil down to who makes adjustments, who makes mistakes first, and who capitalizes on those mistakes. But this is a very even fight based on the styles and the amount of power. And both fighters have pros and cons to their game. Sometimes Lucas, at times, could be a little bit more reckless. Like in the Lamont Peterson, he kind of went in like balls to the wall, no fear, and he didn't care what Lamont Peterson was doing. He just was trying to knock Lamont Peterson's head. Rightfully so to a degree. He has two controversial losses, one to Zab Judah, one to Devin Alexander. So I think his mindset is, I'm not going to be the underdog anymore. I'm not going to leave it in the judges' hands. It's no scorecard needed. I'm coming to knock these guys' heads off. But on the contrary, that can be dangerous when you're in there with a little bit more technical fighter or a counter puncher or someone with power that kind of rivals your own. I'm not going to say Danny Garcia has more power than him, but with power and the ability to time, it could be just as devastating. So I'm really looking forward to this fight. I don't even care who wins. No matter who wins and what fashion they win in, no matter who loses and what fashion they lose, if Danny Garcia gets knocked through the ropes, I'll still watch Danny Garcia. For being a young champion, fighting the Mir Khans, Eric Morales is doing the rematch contract or the rematch clause, Zab Judah, and then taking a tough test in Lucas Matthysse. Same thing with Lucas Matthysse. If he gets knocked out, if he gets his tooth knocked out, I'll still watch Lucas Matthysse because this dude has devastating power, and not everyone's going to fight like Danny Garcia or whatever happens. So I'm content either way it goes. It's going to be a hell of a fight. Angel Garcia is amped up. I'm amped up. I'm sure the fighters themselves are amped up because this is a fight that has been talks for quite some time, and now it's coming into fruition on arguably the largest platform this year, and that's Canelo versus Floyd Mayweather. So really looking forward to it. Watch the interview, the comment, or I'll put the link in the comments in the description. Angel Garcia is going crazy. He's talking about God. He's like, I don't fear no pastor. I don't talk to a priest. I don't talk to nobody. I go to God. Like, he's just going crazy and ranting. Then he's talking about strippers. Just watch the interview. Let me know what you think of Angel Garcia. I think he's funny. I think boxing needs more guys like that just to balance it. Because we have the quiet champions and trainers and that kind of thing. So I'm all for it. And realistically, it's the hurt game. It's the fight business. Of course, you want to ride for your side and you want to think that your guy's going to win and boost his confidence and be confident in your fighter. I would actually be worried if he wasn't confident in his son's skills and abilities. If he was just like, oh, it's going to be a tough fight. I don't know. Lucas Matthysse is a monster. I'd be like, damn, are y'all ready for this fight? So some people get mad because Angel Garcia is very over the top and X-rated with what he says, no filter. But at the same time, what would you think of him if he sounded uncertain or unsure going into a fight with a killer like Lucas Matthysse? One thing that I do have to disagree with Angel Garcia on is I think the way Angel Garcia is depicting Lucas Matthysse is vastly off. You could say the man has losses, but at the very least, both of his losses, he knocked down both of those opponents who are legitimate, slick opponents who if you put him in with the tomato can's not gonna knock him down. And then his KO ratio is ridiculous. True, he did fight some bums in Argentina or people we never knew about, but even as he stepped up in the ranks with the Zab Judas and Devin Alexander, he didn't have a performance to hold his head low about. I mean, he had a good showing, whether you give him the fight or not. I mean, he still held his own against people who had already had a name and significant wins and big big fight cards before. And Lucas Matthysse was clearly the underdog, relatively unknown. And I mean, he's had good fights with DeMarcus Corley, knocked him down like 9 times or something crazy. He stepped up with Humberto Soto, who's a veteran fighter, looked better in the lower weight divisions, but nonetheless a good fighter that not everyone's going to do what Lucas Matthysse did. They avoided a Jose. Not everyone wanted to fight him. I think that was Danny Garcia's mandatory. So to call the man a bum and say, "Oh, we're fighting a bum and y'all making a big deal," I wouldn't call Lucas Matthysse a bum. I don't think his resume stipulates that statement, or I don't know. I just wouldn't call the man a bum, whether you think he hasn't accomplished enough or not. I mean, he's not a bum. And again, despite whatever happens with this fight, I will still watch both of these fighters. I'm just looking forward to a good fight. I honestly feel someone's getting knocked out, to be honest. I don't see it going to the scorecard for either fighter. Whoever wins, one of them's getting knocked out or TKO'd, or a corner's going to stop it. I really feel that. But as far as Angel Garcia's comments, that's what I definitely don't agree with. The fact that you're calling him a tomato can and a bum. He is more, to me, than just a brawler. Even though he sometimes fights like a brawler, I think I would still push him more towards the boxer puncher. I think there's more elements of his game, of Lucas Matthyse's game, that he doesn't show in every fight. But then again, if you don't need to, then why do you do it? Like, if you can end the night early and knock someone out in the 3rd round and walk through their shots, I mean, if that's your game plan, do it. And if it doesn't work, then go back to revert to your boxing. Like Keith Thurman, if you look at Keith Thurman, he's another fighter with power. He fought in the Diego Chavez fight. He had to make adjustments. That's what I like to see. And I think Lucas Matthysse is capable of making adjustments. Same thing with Danny Garcia. That's why it's a hell of a fight. People like Kendall Holt, not so much, in my Borat voice. Kendall Holt doesn't really make adjustments. He has power, all the power in the world, but he doesn't make those subtle changes to his game plan when Lamont Peterson's starting to get the ring rust out, or whoever, Danny Garcia. He had Danny Garcia hurt, and Kendall Holt couldn't finish him. So I would never put Lucas Matthysse in the same category as a Kendall Holt. Both fighters with power, but they use their power totally different, and they make different adjustments. Same thing with Gennady Golovkin. As I see him fight more and more, I'm seeing a boxing background. Does he do everything right? No. Are there holes in his game plan? Yes. There's flaws, just like every fighter. But again, with Gennady Golovkin, another fighter with power, we may not see all that he has to offer until an opponent can withstand his firepower to bring that out of him. If he doesn't have to use head movement and he can knock guys out within 3 rounds, then why is he going to exhaust the energy when he could just entertain and he has that devastating power? So Lucas Matthysse, I think he gets categorized as a brawler, but I do consider him more of a boxer puncher. I see boxing skills. He does make adjustments, and I see an overall technical boxing game in his arsenal, despite if he uses it or not. And the other thing with Lucas Matthysse, he's very patient. For someone who has as much power, oftentimes he's patient. He doesn't just like shoot his wad and then he's gassed out like Marcos Maidana did early in his career when he had people like Amir Khan hurt. He punched himself out, and now he can't even do nothing, and then Amir Khan gets his legs back and wins the fight. Lucas Matthysse is very patient. He had a very determined opponent in a Jose. He had to really conserve his energy and not go too much, even though he was winning every round. But a Jose looked like he could take a shot and he had stamina. So if Lucas Matthysse was just throwing everything at him but the kitchen sink and lost all of his energy, then it wouldn't have been a good look. It would have been like Chavez Jr. or something. Chavez Jr. endured so much punishment against Sergio Martinez to the point where he had the chance to hurt Sergio Martinez in the 12th round. He couldn't pull the trigger because he allowed so much. So that's all I got to say. Good fight. I'm looking forward to it. Who wins? Let me know. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. To the next video is Ego signing off.